Nau mai anō, haere atu anō, aku mihi whakawhetai, aku whakamānua ki o koutou. Ko tahuri mai ki te pai o Party People, ko Mihingarangi hau e kawi ana I te mauri o tō tātou wānanga I te rānei. Welcome to Party People, brought to you by the Public Interest Journalism Fund. It's Tuesday the 18th of October and we are broadcasting to you from the heart of the super city. Now, Shane Depoe is currently drinking martinis in Spain, and there was a little tweet there that we were going to have Shane Jones and Hone Harawira, but Shane has decided to follow a political career, and Hone Harawira is going to be at the porphyry of his wife, Hilda Harawira, who's made a councillor. So instead, we have Tāmaki's most influential political movers and shakers. He's the Deputy Chair of the Independent Māori Statutory Board and Party People's BFF, the Honourable Tau Henare.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Hei te hoki mai au.
Yeah, no mai hoki mai. We've missed you. How's the golf going?
Not as good as it should, but hey.
Have you had I did a little bit of research, an albatross yet or a double eagle?
Nah, nothing closely resembling that.
I know. And we're also joined today by, she's putting the power into the power to the people, the newly elected representative of the Whau Ward, Kerrin Leoni. Tēnā koe I te tuakana. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Tēnā koe. My background, I went to high school over on Waiheke Island. I then went on to do my first degree in social work, started off in social work, then went over to the UK, did 10 years over there, ran my own business there, did 2 masters, so did my first masters in youth development, second one in international politics and economics, it's a long story now, but now a very proud mother of twins, and I'm currently the Whau Ward councillor based in Avondale, so kia ora.
Oh.
Yeah. And she flipped a seat.
That's cool. How many degrees is enough?
Oh, it was about 360 votes, so it wasn't a massive margin, but I was really happy with it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Was it a long wait?
It was a very long wait, a whole week of waiting. Myself and Julie Ferry, we're waiting for that phone call on the Saturday to say that we were either in or out. So once we finally got it, we were like, yes.
Belated celebrations. So you had a meeting with the new mayor, Wayne Brown, today. How'd it go?
It went really good. Yeah, it was interesting. We actually did quite a lot of whakawhanaungatanga because of his links, obviously, my links to the north as well on my mother's side, being Ngāti Kuri and Ngāi Takoto. We actually had quite a few people in common that we knew of. So I think we spent a majority of time actually talking about those links and then going into some of the priorities for the Whau Ward and some of my regional priorities. So, went very well.
Party People just seems to attract, people from the north, isn't that
Movers
right?
and shakers.
Movers and shakers.
In the north or from the north.
Te Tai Tokero. And West Auckland, of course, but yes.
But Ngāti Pawa too, 2 of you.
That's true. And one, who actually grew up on the island.
Yeah.
Many of us didn't have that opportunity. So let's have a look at the local body results because we have 7 new Māori mayors across the Motu. The Far North, Wellington and Rotorua have their first Māori mayors in Moko Te Pania, Tori Whānau, of course, and Tania Tapsell. But at 31 years of age, Moko Te Pania from Te Rarawa and Ngāti Kahu ki Whangaroa is also the Far North's youngest mayor. How will he go, Tau?
I think he's going to go very, very well. There's a lot of Māori councillors on this council, and so the Far North District Council is going to be one to watch. How they move, how they manoeuvre, how they get resources to their people. I mean, look, it's an isolated part of New Zealand, and it's about time that the North got some of the goodies. So I'm so stoked for the whole of the North.
You would have worked with Moko perhaps in the local government on Te Maruata, which is the Māori local government group.
That's right.
Yeah, what are his strengths?
Oh, look, I think Moko is just an amazing, impressive young man. He's I've known him for about 3 years now because when I was first elected, I was part of the young elected members when I was under 40, of course. And I actually did send him a message and encouraged him throughout that 3-year term to stand as mayor. So I can definitely say from the onset, I could see that he's got the skills and definitely he's going to be an amazing mayor for the North. Yeah.
What will his challenges be, Tau?
From my perspective, I think one thing that is two things: roading, the number of poor roads in the north, and also water infrastructure.
Yeah.
The continual flooding of places like Kaio, like Morewa, where all the working class Māoris live, and they get it every year. So much so that Otiria Marae usually gets surrounded, by water from everywhere. It's an indication that nobody's looking after the interests of the north.
Yeah, drinking water also is an issue.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We think we in the city are protected from what a lot of our rural people face. We've got plenty of water. We turn the tap on, and out comes pristine, beautiful water. Up there, you got to wait till it rains to fill
Or
the tank.
buy it in. I think up in
Yeah.
the far north, at the very tip, they've been buying in their water for a
But
year.
here's the thing: you have to buy water over in Waiheke as well. You know.
You do, yeah.
So let's. I think 20% of those representing the north now are Māori, and there's some really big names. I mentioned Hilda Harawira before, Shane Jones' son, Penny Taue. Have you got any whanaunga up there that are...
Yeah, Penny Taue and Peter Lucas, both whanaunga through Ngāi Takoto, so really proud to see that representation. But yeah, I know that Peter Lucas has been managing the radio station up there and is already well connected into the community, so he's going to be great.
Yeah, your thoughts on some of those?
Oh, look, you couldn't ask for a better team. You couldn't ask for a better new team. That they've been around the traps. I mean, Hilda has been around the traps since I was very young, and so that means that she's been around a long time. It all goes well for the north, but it's a big job, and so nobody should be in under any illusion that it's going to be a tough job.
But they're all well connected, eh?
They are.
The lot of them, and people like Hilda Harawira, she's a no muck around wahine, that one.
Oh yeah, and all it is, put the shoulder to the wheel and let's get on with it, and I'm sure they will be.
Any other interesting results around the country that you want to mention?
I think it's just good to know that with all the Māori wards, one of the issues that came up though initially was that we were struggling to get people to stand for the Māori wards. I think now that we've come through the elections, it's a huge learning for us that we need to start to encourage people a lot earlier on to put themselves forward, but we'll get there.
What will be interesting in this Tāmaki term is what the council does. Do they go down the path of Māori wards based on the parliamentary way, or will they go down the way that the Royal Commission said? IMSB are big supporters of what the Royal Commission said on the electoral
For those who don't know Tāmaki Makaurau and how it's made up, what is the Māori representation at present?
At present on council,
Yeah.
just yourself.
But outside of because that's the Whau Ward.
Yeah.
So outside of that is the IMSB.
The IMSB is there to, as an independent body, to oversee the delivery of services to Māori. If they get it wrong, well, we'll jump up and down. If they get it right, we'll still jump up and down to make sure that resources are getting to our people. That's our job. It's legislated for. Sometimes people who are elected don't read the legislation, and they should.
Why are there no Māori wards in Tāmaki?
Well, blame that on the council.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, so I know that there has been a vote previously on Māori wards coming through, and I think one of the issues that has come up is that, well, feedback that I've got from some mana whenua, obviously, is that they welcome Māori representation, but if they do open that up to Māori wards, there's a likelihood of, the fact that 84% of Māori in Tāmaki Makaurau are not mana whenua, could actually take those seats and be in the councillor role. So, yeah, I think it's definitely something that we need to work through and try and balance the role of mana whenua as well as our mātāwaka, which obviously has been achieved through IMSB. But I also wanted to highlight the fact that even with the big political parties like Labour, I mean, I had to spend a lot of time really trying to encourage Māori to stand. And I think that's another area that we need to focus on for the next election, is we should have at least 1 or 2 Māori stand for every single local board in Tamaki Makaurau, given that this is the biggest population in the world of Māori living here in Auckland.
Well, he karanga tēnā ki o koutou ngā rangatahi, kia tū. Let's talk about our new mayor, Wayne Brown. He hasn't wasted any time calling for change. He's asked for resignations, he's contacted the telcos, he's directed the water care bosses, and just this afternoon, he's asked the Ports of Auckland to shift the vehicle imports away from the city, and the container traffic he wants to move to rail. He's not talking to the media though. I think the last time he talked to the media was last Monday. Should a mayor be accountable to the media?
No.
No.
Doesn't have to be. You're the media. I was going to say you,
Yes.
but the media are just the media. They don't deserve anything more than what they've got at the moment. Look,
But surely the media has a role to play in democracy, and
cool.
so does he.
Report. Go and do your job and report. If people don't want to front the media, that's their right. That's their democratic right. I mean, it will come back on them for sure. Because, the one way to get your message out is actually talk to the media.
Do you think elected officials need to front to the media?
Yeah, I do think that needs to happen, but I think, we've only really just got the results, to be fair, on Saturday. And so I think we're all still forming relationships ourselves as 20 councillors. We're trying to obviously form a relationship with the mayor and understand what he wants to get achieved. So, yeah, there's a lot of that happening.
How quick you've learned.
But he might not.
rock the boat, baby.
He might not be talking to the media, but he certainly is sending lots of letters.
Yeah,
What do you make
look.
of his approach?
Oh, but I think it's refreshing in a way that he's telling all these people that you have got 5 minutes left, But I also think it's destabilising as well. Is that I heard him have a crack at Ports of Auckland about the health and safety record down there. Well, sorry, Wayne, that was the last board. That was the last chief executive officer. That was the last chairman. I was instrumental in getting rid of the chief executive officer. And now I think we've actually got a good board and a good chief exec down there who know what they are doing. Look, I'm happy to support him to get rid of all the cars and containerise everything in and out of the port. That's a wonderful idea, and I'm even a supporter of moving the port to Northland because of the benefits that we'll have not only from Tamaki but for Auckland, for Northland as well.
This morning on RNZ, Linda Cooper, who's a former councillor, she was rubbishing Wayne Brown's demands, saying that you just can't rip up the groundwork done by the government reforms. And she also says that she said she didn't support Three Waters, but she said she felt like he was playing clickbait and playing to an angry crowd. And she did say that actually, there's a process. There's a process you have to meet as a council, and then you have to vote to and change the intent, and then you have to reach out. What are your thoughts around the process of it all?
Yeah, so all of us know that very clearly. I mean, when we saw a lot of the media releases going out, and we did get the results about us winning our seats, we knew actually all of those decisions do need to come through the councillors, and that needs to be a majority vote. So although he is sending all these letters out and all these demands are being made, it still needs the final decision will sit with the councillors.
There's something interesting from our meeting with him that he said to me about Three Waters, and I love Three Waters for a number of reasons. But he did say that the problem that Three Waters has is that everybody seems to be honing in on the co-governance, which is only a small part of the.
Which is also true, though. The attention is on co-governance.
But everybody seems to think that it's all about co-governance, and it's not. It's actually about the drinkability and of your water. It's about infrastructure. It's about being able to actually go and borrow a whole heap of money and deal with some of the problems that our areas are facing.
Also what Linda Cooper said this morning is that actually when it comes to when a government minister rolls out a policy it's not for you to not do it. And in fact, that she said that the government probably has the numbers to do it. So, I mean, for you, is it about working through it with government?
Yeah, we definitely need to work through it, and we know that it's been on the table and all the processes are being followed about consultation. I know that Auckland Council didn't agree to it originally, and I did get some feedback around the reasons why, and they felt that a majority of councillors felt that we did have the infrastructure and we did have the budget set up to continue to build the infrastructure for good water. But obviously we have to work with central government and continue that.
Will Nanaia Mahuta push on with it, do you think?
Oh, I hope she does. But then again, I mean, if they lose the election, the Nats have said they're going to turn it over. So it's all up in the air. It's one of those things that is just basically, I think, it's turned into a political football. So it will be on the agenda for the general election, no doubt.
What do you make of the criticism in her other portfolio this week as foreign minister? She has now sanctioned around 1,000 Russian oligarchs and including Alexander Ambrov, I hope I'm saying that right, who owns property up north, which encouraged another one to launch into a racist and homophobic attack on her. And, even calling the moko on her chin, made her look like a criminal. She cops a lot of abuse. Do you think Māori women in public life, it seems to be that they cop more than anyone else. Are you concerned about that going into public life?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm the first Māori woman as a councillor, elected councillor, and I'm aware of all the kind of issues and surrounding that. But with Nanaia herself, I just want to fully commend what she has worked through to date, because she has done an amazing job at kind of pushing back at that stuff. But I'm sure it does affect you emotionally. She's got a family, she's got tamariki that she has to go home to at the end of the day. But she's a pretty formidable woman, but it's unacceptable. And we have to make sure that we are, sending the right messages to these people that are giving these racist comments. It's not good at all.
Jason Ake, Waikato Tainui's communications and strategist, he released a press release saying that it was petty vitriol. How would you respond to that if you were the minister?
Seriously? I would swear and I'd tell him where to get off. And quite frankly, I mean, what are we doing trading with the Russians? We still trade with the Russians. We've still got a Russian embassy there. I'd close the damn thing down and send a bugger on a slow boat back to wherever he comes from. Honestly, I mean, this is actually a big deal, the war in Ukraine. And I've heard people who support the Ukrainians. I've even heard people who support the Russians because of the whole whakapapa of that area. So it's one of the things that we should be wary of. But, mate, you can't keep sending bombs, killing innocent men, women and children. You just can't.
I want to get into some politics, but first there's a couple of breaking news, if you like, today. Two parties are on the horizon with the resignation of Hamilton West MP Dr. Gaurav Sharma today. So he was removed from the Labour caucus in August, but in a social media post today he said he's resigning and he's going to launch a new party, and it's triggered a by-election. Will he get much support?
No, I heard the party is called the Me Party because it's all about me.
It is not.
I just think, look, I've been there, done that, and it's hard not to do that. When you're feeling under pressure and blah, 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 and you think you're not getting the run of where you think you should be. But at the end of the day, you're just an MP. You're just part of the team. And if the captain says you're playing on Saturday, sweet. If you're not playing on Saturday, well, maybe you should go to practice and maybe next week you might be in the team.
Hey, of all the three of us, you actually have met Dr. Gaurav, and because you stood in the Waikato seat, which is borders the Hamilton West seat. What did you make of him through the campaign?
Oh, look, Gaurav and I got on really well. He was actually great to campaign alongside, and we'd share a lot of insights around our campaign issues. But, I did not see any of this coming at the time. And I'm just watching and looking at everything that's happening. So, but yeah, no, when we campaigned together, there was no issues highlighted at all.
So you'll be putting your name in to run again?
No, I won't.
And
No, I won't.
You won't consider the by-election?
No, I won't be considering the by-election. I'm just focused at the moment as a Whau Ward councillor. It's taken me a week to get through here, so
It's only taken a week to learn some strategic kōrero.
But that's cool. And that should actually, that statement from Kerrin should say to the people of Whau that you are first.
Ka pai.
Yeah.
There was also a few days ago Matt King, former National MP. He registered the Democracy New Zealand Party. He's going to go for a centrist vote. What do you think about that?
But everybody's after the centre.
Yeah.
Uncle Winston's after the centre. Your whanaunga from the north, David Seymour, he's after the centre. Nationals after the centre. Even Labour are after the centre. I mean, for goodness sake.
Technically, Ngāti Rehe is closer to your iwi than Ngāti Pāwa, but...
Actually, my whakapapa comes from down country.
We all say that when we need to. Now someone else in the centre and came out booming this weekend is New Zealand First. Let's talk about some of the things that have been said. Winston Peters said co-governance, separatism and the seeds of apartheid are being scattered throughout all of our laws and institutions, and he wants them all repealed. Have you heard this before?
I've heard the rhetoric before from him. What worries me is the only seeds that are being sown are anti-Māori. And any move to recognise Māori in the chain of command is going to be referred to as apartheid. The use of the word is abhorrent to me, because in no way is that the same apartheid as it was in South Africa. And that's why I tweeted the other day, was that waiho te rā kupu for those people, for that instant in time. It's not us. And so there's no one who is trying to make an apartheid system. Can't. And we wouldn't run with it. It's just silly.
You've been around politics now for a little while, so
Yeah.
you know that how co-governance has come along, how post-iwi settlements have really empowered Māori to not just get into partnerships, but actually to be leading. Annabelle our producer, was just talking about her iwi down there. They're in a position now post-settlement where they're actually able, their own health organisation is able to cater for the Pākehā in their district. So, treaty settlements are good for everybody. So if not co-governance, if not partnership and all these things, what is the solution? Are you hearing what New Zealand First is offering?
Oh, look, I actually really support co-governance. I mean, if you even look at the Hauraki Golf Forum and how far that's come, that's, it's moved mountains. And it was great to see one of our Ngāti Pāwa whanaunga, Hiri Aroha skipper, talking today about the Hauraki Golf. And you're just never going to get that kind of whakaaro at an equal state when we're trying to move through things, There's no way that non-Māori could do a rāhui around Waiheke Island. So we have to have them at the table, and we've got to continue doing that going forward. But it should be, if we do aim for partnership, it should be about Māori actually leading in all those areas as well, and being given the funding to lead.
And one of the questions I would ask Matua Shane and Uncle Winston, if you're going to roll back co-governance, does that mean gone is the Waikato River? Co-governance issue. There's co-governance, the Maunga Authority. We have it. It's a part of the living New Zealand. It's not some sort of thing that is going to turn you black or white.
Is it going to win votes, though?
Yes, it is. I mean, the unfortunate thing is that we think to ourselves, some of us think, and I shouldn't say, I shouldn't talk on behalf of everybody, but some of us believed that Winston's time had come and gone, and that was cool. He should be lauded for 40 years in that big house. We don't need any of that. It's old. It's old stuff. So the message to New Zealanders, if you want to go into the future and if you want to protect most of the people, keep on with co-governance, keep on with what's being done in Aotearoa, New Zealand.
It's going to be a busy little centre there come the next election. You've got the top party, New Zealand First, Democracy New Zealand, Freedom, I've forgotten some of the other ones. There's not enough room for all of them.
No, it's going to be a difficult election, and we know that tides change every 3 terms, so I think that's just a normal part of people wanting change in Aotearoa. But, definitely Labour's going to be there at the table, and we will be saying that we want to continue with co-governance and continue with the great work that's been done.
So they're going to win?
Well, look, I'm definitely going to be supporting them.
Yeah, but that's only you. No.
Just before we go, the government says some of the COVID-19 powers are not justified anymore, so no more vaccine mandates, managed isolation or lockdowns. Do either of you still take precautions?
Oh, look, I'm totally in favour of having an inquiry into where we were, where we are now, and everything in between. Because I think COVID's going to come back, and in a way that more of us are going to die. And the sad thing is that we know people who will get it and who will pass away. But it seems that we're being told that that's just the normal track of things. I tell you, mate, it's not going away.
Do you still take precautions?
I definitely haven't as much, but I think depending on what spaces I'm going into. Yeah, so I think everything's case by case, but we still have to be careful.
I wear a mask up at New World.
Yes.
Because I shop over in Hobsonville. Because our countdown in Taratū is a bit rank,
Oh.
Shame, why can't we have a New World? Instead of pack and save. Why do you want to go for pack and save for? What's wrong with New World?
There's a New World in New Lynn.
Have you seen
Go to the New World in New Lynn.
It's a bit too far.
We need a third player, Te Ao Māori, the Māori World supermarket.
Oh,
They have one up in Kaitaia.
But that's where why
enterprise.
the iwi leaders are actually overseas right at this moment, talking about foodstuffs and grocery stores.
Yes,
so Aldi might come.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
And I know that Ngāti Kuri and those far iwi ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've started up in the far north, but it would be great to see it down here.
Yeah.
Before we go, any words of advice for Kerrin?
Oh, go hard, and don't fall into the trap of thinking you have to say sorry. Just get in there and bash them around.
Ka pai. Well, that's it from Party People. Tēnā kōrua, thank you so much for being on our show again. We love having you, and for you for a start one. So thank you to Te Puna Whakatongarewa, mōna I tautoko I tēnei kaupa. Don't forget to watch us on YouTube, RNZ, all those things. Nohora mai.